My name is Andrew Bustamante, and this is Everyday Espionage.
Now, I want to warn you up front that a number of you are not going to be happy with this conversation today. And that's okay. I try to be honest with you. I try to make sure that you know that not everything that I have to say is good news. A lot of stuff I have to say is bad news, and that's just the way it is. And today is one of those days. It's a mix of good news and bad news. And if you're not in the mood for a little bit of bad news, I'm just telling you right now, just to hit stop, skip this episode, don't listen to it, come back some other time, go find good news somewhere else. I'm not here for sunshine and rainbows today. Now, I recently hosted a group of multimillionaires. It was a private group that came out to take my Tradecraft course. And if you've taken Tradecraft, or if you follow me through the newsletter or through my website, then you've stumbled across Tradecraft. You know that it's one of my most popular events. And you also know that it was the event that essentially was the first ever live training that I offered outside of the private intelligence world or the public intelligence world. Now, this group of millionaires, there were 8 of them that came out. They all owned businesses. In order to be part of this private group, they had to own a business between $2 and $25 million. And they had to have successfully run that business for more than 2 years. They found me through the podcast, and their mastermind leader is the one that arranged this private event with me. And they had one specific request of me, and that was that I did not bring anybody into their group, that I hosted this Tradecraft group privately, that none of my retail clients, none of my Intel clients, nobody could come in and be part of the group, because they wanted their group to be pure, to be cohesive, just them, just themselves. They've been working together for many years together as this mastermind. And now they wanted to take this event privately with no outside interference, with no new faces, no new names, nobody they didn't know. So that was easy for me to support because I have total control over my Tradecraft venue, my Tradecraft training curriculum, and everything. So this group came out, and I didn't know what to expect. I've run Tradecraft for dozens of people in the past. I've run it for corporations. I've run it for total retail customers that had never met each other. But I'd never run it for a private group, a private mastermind group like this, where they had such a consistent, such a homogeneous audience, right? These are all individually successful people, all business owners, all not just normal small business owners either, but business owners who have broken the $1 million mark, which is not an easy thing to do. And when they came out, it was like any other Tradecraft. I shook hands, I gave high fives. They were all happy to be there. They had traveled from all over the country to come down to my little piece of Florida, my little piece of paradise, and we jumped right into the curriculum. Now, as I taught this group, a few things happened. First, I was absolutely struck by how different their behavior was compared to any other class I had run. Whether I had run this for executives or whether I had run this for retail folks who had found me on the website, what I saw was this group was hyper attentive. They had come to this event. They had come to Tradecraft for one very specific purpose. They wanted one piece of new information, one point of new perspective that they didn't previously have, because they wanted to take that one nugget, this one something. Nobody knew what that one thing was, but if they could learn one new thing in my course, they knew that they had the capacity to turn that one new idea into the next $100,000, the next $500,000, the next $2 to $10 million for their business. And that's what they were looking for. So they were paying attention. They were hanging on every word, taking every note, trying to master every concept I taught in Tradecraft for that one nugget, for that one $50,000, $500,000 idea that they came to me to purchase. Just when you think about that, it was absolutely inspiring to me. It was absolutely jaw-dropping to me to think that these folks knew that they were coming not to be entertained. They weren't coming to be challenged. They weren't coming to be pushed. They were coming to be inspired by one statement, one new point of view that they knew they could convert into $50,000 or more dollars in increased revenue. And because of that, it made it very easy for them to spend the amount of money they spend. Streetcraft is generally a $3,000 course. So when they came out, they were happy to spend $3,000 to come to my Streetcraft course, knowing that they were going to get one idea that would help them to generate in excess of $50,000 in new business. That's it. That was the promise. That was the expectation. And I wasn't intimidated by that expectation. I loved that they had such a clear singular goal, because then as I taught them everything I taught them through Streetcraft, everything about dead drop and surveillance and how to create a perfect alias, as I taught them this stuff, they were absorbing and seeking to master and understand and ask questions about every possible derivation of the training, because they were mining for that one piece of gold that they were looking for. And the fascinating part to me was, before we ever finished the day's training, they had found their ideas. They had found multiple ideas. I had one gentleman who owns 3 gyms in Philadelphia come up to me and say at the first break that he had already had 3 mind-boggling ideas for how they were going to increase business that year. And he was like, this is well worth the price of admission, and it's just the first break. And then by the end of the day, after these Streetcraft students had finished all of their classroom training, after they had hit the streets and actually executed their operation, when we all got together at the end of the day, they insisted on a second day, completely unprompted, just to go over their ideas and their findings from the first day. And like any good business owner would do, when your client comes up and says, hey, I want to meet tomorrow, and I want us to meet for half a day because there was so much impact today that I want to unpack it more tomorrow, and I don't care what the price is, then the answer is yes. And that's exactly what we did. We came back, we had a custom breakfast, a private breakfast the next day, and we jumped right into a whole second day of unpacking the knowledge and the lessons from the first day. Now, why am I saying that you're not going to like this? Why am I saying that this is going to upset people? Because when this millionaire group stopped talking about their own businesses, all 8 of them turned their attention on my business. And there I was on this second day, clearly in the crosshairs of these extremely successful businesses that were generating more revenue than I've generated yet. And they looked at me, and the first thing they told me is that my Streetcraft course is undervalued. It's underpriced. And when I asked them what they thought my one-day training should be priced at, they told me that the minimum should be $5,000. That was it. And then founder of the Mastermind told me that they wanted to book my Streetcraft for the rest of the year and book it privately just for their clients, because their group of 8 that showed up were only 8 of a larger group of about 150 different multimillionaires, different business owners from around the country. And that's exactly what they did. They booked my Streetcraft course, and then they went on to book 3 other of my courses multiple times for the next year. Now, because they booked me, and they didn't book me at my original price, they booked me at the price that they demanded I increase my price to. So I had to accept. There's no way you step away from a customer who comes to you and tells you that you have to increase your price, and we want to buy you out of all of your upcoming 3 courses for the next year. So I said yes, and we have 3 new courses that are all lined up just for their group. And what that means is that my once $3,000 Streetcraft course that had availability 3 times a year is now a $5,000 Streetcraft course that has almost no availability for the rest of 2022. That's the news that I know is going to upset some people, because I've seen people, I've gotten your messages, I've gotten your emails, I've gotten your feedback as you've watched the prices of my spy training courses increase almost every 6 months. And here I am announcing it yet again. And I want you to know that what you're witnessing is something called market-based pricing. Now, market-based pricing is a strategy where the market itself dictates the price of your product. Lots of folks don't like market-based product pricing because they think that it's unfair. They call it price gouging. They call it price manipulation. They call it supply manipulation. But the truth is that when something is in demand and low in supply, the price goes up. That's economics 101. And essentially, that's exactly what has happened to Everyday Spy. When I started Everyday Spy, when I started Streetcraft and my various other courses like Red Team and Ghost Tactics, I didn't know what the right price was. All I knew is that I wanted to teach SPY skills and give those skills to people who would be able to turn those skills into exponential success for themselves. And I have seen that happen time and time again. And now I'm watching it happen not just to everyday people, not just to executives and individual small business owners. Now I'm seeing people who are the elite among successful business owners also massively benefit from the courses that I have to offer. So if you've been looking to get yourself enrolled in Tradecraft, the bad news is you are running out of time. Now here's the good news. The good news is that I have reserved my November Tradecraft training. And I have reserved it at the original price, and I am offering a one-time discount to anybody who has been waiting to take Tradecraft and has not been able to afford it. If you're one of those people who has been expecting the price to decrease, if you've been one of those people betting against the fact that my courses would continue to go up in price, I'm sorry to tell you that your gamble was wrong. But I am here to say that you have a chance to get into one last class this year in November, not for the $3,000 price that I originally priced it for, but for a discount to $1,800, and you have one chance to get it, because after November of this year, I am never offering Tradecraft for less than $5,000 ever again. I already have Tradecraft sold out for this year. All of my original dates have been sold out to this one mastermind group, and I have them introducing me to other mastermind groups right now who want to book me for 2023 and for 2024. So please, I'm telling you folks that I am extremely grateful for the success that I have had in business because of you and because of your support and your encouragement. And I know a lot of you out there are smiling right now, happy for the success, especially those of you who have taken Tradecraft, who know how awesome Tradecraft is and who have benefited in your own private jobs and your own careers and your own businesses because you took Tradecraft. I know you're there clapping. I thank you so much for your support, and I can't tell you enough how awesome it was to have you in the classroom. It's the rest of you out there that have been waiting. I don't want you to wait any longer. If you keep waiting, you will lose the chance to take Tradecraft. I am anticipating that Tradecraft is going to disappear by 2024 because I have no way of keeping up the number of classes that are already being demanded from new clients and from corporate clients. So that's why I'm very excited for this November class. It's my last class that I'm able to offer at the $1,800 price point. This is to think that Tradecraft started in 2019 as a $250 per person course, and now it has become a $5,000 per person course is absolutely encouraging and humbling to me. But I want you to know right now that this is the best that I can do. This is my way of showing my appreciation and my support to everybody who's been able to support me. Please, if you are interested in Tradecraft, hear me now. I want you to be able to join the November class. November, this upcoming year, I'll give you the exact dates. I have it set aside, reserved for November 11th and 12th. You will pay $1,897 instead of $5,000, and you can get your reservation. You can make your registration right now if you go to everydayspy.com/spy. It's the same site it's always been, everydayspy.com/spy. And you get a chance to jump in on the final Tradecraft class that's going to be offered at this low price because I have to upgrade it. I have to increase the price according to market-based pricing strategy. I have to increase the price because I know that the people who will sit down at the table in Tradecraft are people who are going to succeed, and it's my responsibility to make sure that everybody seated at the table with you on that day is someone who can contribute to your success. Again, I have no doubts that many of you are frustrated. I have no doubts that I am disappointing people and that I am hurting people's feelings as I tell them that Everyday Spy is only going to get more expensive and more difficult for some folks to afford. But I'm telling you at the same time that Everyday Spy and what I teach in classes like Tradecraft works. It worked for this multimillionaire group to give them their $500,000 ideas. It's worked for hundreds of other people who have been through Tradecraft. I've got testimonials that say things like, After taking Andy's Streetcraft class and implementing the skills taught into my own life, I added $20K to my yearly salary. If you haven't trained with Everyday Spy in person, I'll literally put my name on their training. That's from Jeff in California. Or I have something from Aaron that says, as I sit here in the waiting terminal at the airport, I look around the world and other people, and everything is so much clearer and less scary thanks to Streetcraft. I feels good to wear my new operator eyes. I've had folks write in like DJ that says that this entire event was fantastic and I plan on returning to every event Andy hosts. Very few people exist with Andy's knowledge and drive to teach students and genuine compassion for all members who come through his courses. I have comments from people. Streetcraft was an experience like no other. From Hannah. Streetcraft gave me knowledge to do more with less time, less money, less hassle, more freedom. I have Abby writing in to tell me that Streetcraft was such a thrilling hands-on experience, it's worth every penny. I have been absolutely just floored by the support that folks have given me for Streetcraft, and it's even more amazing and encouraging to see as I teach new folks that they have found a way to take these spy skills and turn them into massive force multipliers for their business, their personal lives, and their careers. And that's the invitation I want to extend to you right now. You have one last chance this year, and it's in November, from November 11th to 12th, 2022, to join Streetcraft now for $1,897 instead of its new retail price of $5,000. This isn't an advertisement. This isn't a sales pitch, folks. This is me being honest with you. I have been watching my own prices increase, and it has hurt me to watch my prices increase. So if you're one of those people out there who have wanted to take Streetcraft, who've thought about taking Streetcraft, who've been waiting and hoping that maybe Streetcraft would somehow get less expensive, I'm sorry to tell you that just isn't going to happen. But you do have one more chance this year to get in on the training, get in on the fun, get in on the benefits that so many other people have had before you if you go to everydayspy.com/spy and sign up for the November Streetcraft right now. When you do, you will walk out of that course with a completely different set of experiences. Not only will you know what it's like to run your own operation, not only will you have a detailed understanding of espionage and human intelligence tradecraft, but you'll walk out being one of a small cadre of people who know how to turn those skills into incredible success. And when you can turn spy skills into everyday success, that is everyday espionage. I can't wait to see you in November. Go ahead and check out everydayspy.com/spy and sign up for the last Streetcraft that's going to be available in 2022 at everydayspy.com/spy. Take care. Everyday Espionage is dedicated to one thing: educating everyday people. I know that not everyone will listen, but those who listen will learn. If you learned something new today, click subscribe, review, and share the podcast with a friend. Find me on social media at Everyday Spy or on my website, everydayspy.com. If you are up for a special challenge, visit everydayspy.com/operations and join me for an authentic spy training mission. And above all else, remember that knowledge is freedom.